One more time. What the fuck is going on, everybody? We're fucking back. And I just had to play that for the American homies. You know? For a few reasons. One, we're pumping. And I can't help but think that Trump not dying the other day is part of it. So fuck yeah. They tried to take him out. They couldn't do it. And it's good for the coins. It appears. It appears that the failed assassination on Trump was good for the coins. And that's what matters to me the most. Is it good for the coins? On the whole, I think trying to kill someone for having differing political views is insane. Anyways, we're not going to get into that rabbit hole. One, because I don't actually know what the fuck is the truth. Two, I'm Canadian. And three, nothing I say about it really matters, does it? We're here to talk about the coins. We're here to talk about the cryptos. But at the end of the day, Trump survived. The coins went up. You know, can't complain about that. So, I'm sorry it's been a little bit since my last stream. I don't even know when the last one was. I think I did a market update last week or something. I've been lagging a little bit. It was my birthday last week. Your boy's getting old. I'm 34. What the fuck happened? I genuinely do not know. I've been on this godforsaken platform since I was 24. I'm still here, and I hope to leave very soon. But this guy says, would you rather have Trudeau or Biden? I have both, unfortunately. Trudeau here and Biden over there. But yeah, so it was my birthday, and then I got quite sick. So I apologize if there haven't been enough updates. But basically, everything I kind of was hoping would happen for the bull side has played out. So if you've been paying attention to the Telegram, which I've done my best to update, we were looking for a few things, right? So initially, right, when we had this move down here on July 4th, Independence Day, America, fuck yeah, we longed. I longed. I don't know if you longed. I longed. But I shared in Discord that I was longing on this move here. And the thought process behind the long was quite simple. Just aggressive selling below an old low, basically going straight down. It was worth taking a punt down here below this level. And we're kind of just front running that weekly support here. So this is that weekly order block, right? So front running it, because generally when you have a super obvious level like this, you're either going to front run it or you're going to blow the fuck through it. And we experienced some front running there. Now, I'm not still holding those longs. I wish I was still holding the longs up into here. I cut them on the bearish retest, or what I thought could be a bearish retest. So that was kind of the thesis for the long. And then when we started consolidating, my thought process was super simple. And again, I shared this all in Discord. I was like, realistically, probably sideways. And you have to assume that there's the potential for a bearish retest here at this obvious level. But the hope, right, was a reclaim of the range low is what we wanted to see to be bullish. So if you go to the Telegram, I gave you the exact levels. I was looking for a reclaim. So 60,000 basically on Bitcoin, 5960K, which was the rain low, and 3,100 on Ethereum. So I mentioned I wanted to see a high time frame close above those levels. So I'm not talking about an hourly candle or even a 4-hour candle. I'm talking, the 12-hour, the daily kind of thing, right? And we got that. We had a daily candle close above right here. So look what happened, right? Rejected, daily candle closed above, flew. And Ethereum did the exact same thing at 3,100, right? Here we did end up getting the close above, came back down, retested the order block, put in an H12 sweep, closed above again, multiple closes above. You got to be looking bullish here at that point. And, the rest is literally history. It's looking good again now, right? We're back in. So I sent a tweet out. I posted this in Telegram. Everywhere that I post, I said, listen, I know a lot of people when we were trading down here were saying, hey, we got a weekly break in structure here. We just lost the 4-month-long consolidation. Okay, it's distribution now. Maybe it's over. We'll see you next year. Germany is selling all the Bitcoin in the world. And it looked quite grim. So I'm going to go on a little rant here, but I think it's going to be some valuable information, especially if you're new. Because Twitter, right, is a snapshot of people's kind of highlights, right? That's what they want it to be. Think of like Instagram, right? You don't go on Instagram and see someone posting about them waking up and going to work, and then them eating their dinner and then, watching their show and then going to bed Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You don't see the lowlights. You don't see the mundane, right? You don't see the regular life. You just see here they're on a boat. Oh, they're at a beach. They're at a party. They're at a festival. They're doing something sick. They're driving a fast car. They're doing cool stuff, right? It's the highlight reel. And so if you wake up in the morning and you got to go to work, right? Or you got to do whatever, right? You got to do something you don't want to do. And you go on Instagram and you see people partying. You see people at the beach. They're in Greece. They're doing fun stuff. They're driving a fast car. They're doing cool shit. And you are about to get up and fucking go to work. That's a surefire way to start a pretty shitty day, right? Because you're going to be like, look at all the sweet shit people are doing, and I'm going into work. But most people have the ability to kind of, at least I think, I would hope, kind of say, I know that, this person's not just, their entire life isn't a vacation. They're just posting the highlights, right? Twitter is the same, right? People want to post only the best stuff on Twitter. We've got another little pop here, man. It's just nonstop. People just want to post the highlights, right? They want to post the chart that they drew the squiggly on. They said, look, I said it was going to do this, and look, it did. That's what they want to post. They want to post the winning trade. They want to post the chart that they drew that played out. It's the highlights. People hate being wrong on Twitter. They hate looking like they got something wrong. Like they drew this and price did this. They're not going to update that thread, most people, right? They're just going to post a new chart, right? But that's not trading. That's drawing on a chart. That's trying to get clout. Leave that to me. I'm the clout goblin, okay? You don't need to be the clout goblin. That role's already taken by me. You can have it when I retire. It's all just trying to look smart, trying to look like you know what you're doing to a bunch of people that you likely will never meet ever. Like, it's not a real place, Twitter, okay? So it's very easy to get caught up in this mindset. And what you have to remind yourself is a lot of these people that are posting, oh my God, look, everything's going up. Fuck the bears. I fucking told you. If you scroll down their timeline a little bit, they were shitting their pants down here. They were drawing lines to 40K. They were saying it's fucking over. And there's nothing wrong with that, okay? Because we did have a structural break. We did lose major support. So there was reasons to be bearish, right? But you need to have strong opinions, but you need to hold them loosely. Because if information is presented to you, like a range reclaim, like some bullish black swan potentially with what happened with Trump, something like that happens, you have to be able to flip your bias in an instant. And the problem with Twitter is when people were bearish and then they flip bullish, they go, well, you were bearish, bro. They do it to like Don Alt, for example, all the time. They're doing it to Ansem. You were bearish, man, and we went up. Fuck you. All that really matters is whether or not you make money. That's all that fucking matters at the end of the day, or else why are you here, right? Are you making money? It's you versus your P&L. I say this all the time. So regardless of what is posted on Twitter about someone, maybe their analysis on Twitter wasn't correct, but they traded it correctly. Maybe they flipped their bias. They ended up longing. You don't know. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. All that matters is your P&L. So first of all, don't attach too much importance on what other people on the internet say, but also don't tie yourself to your bias, right? If you thought it was going to go down and you're like, well, I posted on Twitter that's going to 40K and it starts going up, don't prevent yourself from flipping your bias because you want to look smart on Twitter, okay? Trade the chart and trade to make money. That's all that fucking matters, okay? So I had plenty of reason to think that we might trade lower. Now, when I tweeted, I mentioned the weekly market structure, right, is actually down here. So I said this can go way lower and still end up going up, right? We could put in a higher low here like we did. We could have put a higher low in down here. And it could still go up as long as this weekly low held. Now, obviously, that's a huge range, right? But the point is, yes, this was a weekly structure break, but this is internal. This is within this bullish leg. So it's a clue, right? But it's not the be-all, end-all. Yeah, we lost the 4-month consolidation, but guess what? Now we're back in. We had a weekly close below, and then we had a weekly close back in. So instantly, when we had that weekly close on Sunday, yesterday, back within the range, the switch has to flip. Okay, now I'm potentially bullish again. We're back within the range. I'm looking for longs. Now, could we come down and make a lower high here? Yes, anything can happen, but I'm just saying, don't tie yourself because you drew some lines on a chart and you think that this has to happen now. You trade to make money. Trade the chart that's in front of you. Things happen quickly. The chart changes quickly, and you have to be able to adapt. And all that matters is that you're making money. If you're a trader, it doesn't matter if it's going up or down, right? You're trading to make money, and you can make money both directions. So from a leverage perspective, there was some uncertainty here, but I think there was lots of clues, specifically regaining those key levels, that it was time to flip bullish if you're day trading. For buying spot, I posted again on Telegram, on Twitter. I said below 60K, I personally, and I posted this, I believe that the cycle's not over. I still believe that we're going to see 6-figure Bitcoin, 100K. So for me, 30% off the high, below the range low, I think that's not a bad place to buy spot. 59K, 55K, and I would have been comfortable buying lower as well, but that's spot. You have more room for error. My invalidation is much looser. With leverage, you got to be a little more precise. So I'm glad that we're going back up now, but you're going to, when you see moves like this, a lot of people were on the wrong side of this move. Regardless of what you see on Twitter, a lot of people were expecting this to go lower. I don't know whether or not they flipped their bias or they made money. I don't know. All that matters is that you have the ability to not be stuck in that bias. You're putting money behind your bias. So if you think it's going to go down, you're putting money behind that. Be supremely confident that's going to go down. But if you're proven wrong, don't hesitate to flip your bias and then get longing. When we had that weekly close above 60K, we've now moved up another $4,000. So if you're sitting on the sideline for that $4,000 move, right? Because you had the bias that we had to go lower, right? You're going to miss out. So we're not 100% out of the woods, but we're looking a lot better than we were a week ago, right? We're back within the range. We've reclaimed key support. Now the question is, okay, we're going to pull back. Likely, I mean, we've got 7 green candles in a row here on the H12. We're probably going to pull back at some point. Are you going to flip bearish instantly? Or are you going to now say, hey, this is now potentially looking bullish. I want to look for areas to potentially long. Okay? So don't get locked into that bias. Don't feel beholden to your Twitter, other people's tweets. Okay? Just trade the chart. If you think the chart looks bullish now, great. Now you start looking for longs. It doesn't matter that you were bearish in your last post. It doesn't matter. Who fucking cares? Okay? I'm telling you right now, a guy like Don Alt, who said, oh, this looks shitty now. Guess what he tweeted today? Hey, now it looks good again because it reclaimed a level. That's all it takes, right? So I'm of that same mindset now. We've now broken back into the range, okay? I'm looking for this to dip so I can long, okay? Doesn't matter that it looked shitty here. It looks better now. Doesn't matter that you may have posted, oh, it looks bad, and now it looks good, and you want to long, and some idiot in your comment is going to, like, inevitably, when you flip your bias, some idiot's going to comment, you were bearish, and now it's going up. You should be bullish, like, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's just part of trading. Something you're going to have to get used to. People are going to fucking talk shit. Who cares? Ignore them. You're trying to make money here. That's all that fucking matters at the end of the day. You can be perfectly wrong on all your fucking squiggles, but if you're making money, you're doing better than 95, 99% of the people on here. Most people aren't even trading, okay? Let alone trading profitably. So if you're making money, you're doing good, okay? That's enough for the rant now. Ooh, that thing fucked me up. God damn. So let's talk about the charts now. I think things look a little bit better, obviously, now that we're back within the range. I do think that we're probably going to see some profit taking, some type of pullback. The question is, where is that pullback going to go to? And where would we like to potentially bid on that pullback? Okay. So we've got a bunch of green candles in a row here. Can we put in more? Yeah, we could trade higher. Like, it doesn't have to stop here. What I've marked out is there's a weekly fair value gap here. Okay. This is potential resistance. And then there's another kind of area of resistance here with this weekly order block in this OB. So these are areas where price could potentially pull back. I don't know how the daily is going to close yet. Maybe we sweep these highs and we close below, and that's going to give us a pullback. I don't know yet, but I want to look for opportunities to long. So the two areas that I'm watching for on Bitcoin specifically, okay, are here. This fair value gap. Okay, and then this order block down here, confluent with the range lows. Okay, these are the two areas that I would like to bid, and I will probably try and bid and obviously react when we get there and see what happens. So this would be a very shallow pullback, but we are due for a bit of a correction. Now, the most bullish scenario here is a very shallow pullback. What is this? Let's see. 61K to, 62.5. That would be a shallow pullback to this H12 fair value gap, and then we just continue higher. Reclaim the mid-range. I'm targeting up here. Okay? The deeper pullback would be down into here. Range low retest. Still a higher low, right? Higher low, higher low, higher low. Range low retest, so 59 to 60K. Those are the two areas that I'm looking to long Bitcoin on a pullback. Doesn't matter if I thought it was going to go lower. Doesn't matter if you thought it was going to go lower. We've got new information that we need to make decisions based on. And that's it. It's as simple as that for those things. Because if you look now at the higher time frames, yeah, the weekly, it looked bad here. We broke below. But all of a sudden, we're back in the range. We've completely engulfed this down move, basically, right here. So it looks good again. And if you look at the monthly, like that is a bullish looking monthly candle. That weekly structure break on the weekly ends up being a SFP on the monthly. And so what you'll find oftentimes with SFPs, right? So like, let's assume this is an SFP here. It might be an SFP on the weekly, but on the H12, it actually closed below. But the logic is the same. If we trade below a low and close below it, but then reclaim it, you can treat it the same as an SFP from a trading perspective. Your invalidation is here. You're looking to buy a retest. You're treating it as a breaker. It's the same. On one time frame, it's a candle close below. On another time frame, it's an SFP. And so all of a sudden, the monthly looks like a crazy bullish hammer that took out all of the previous month's lows, filled in a fair value gap, and now it looks fucking awesome. Okay? So you can treat it the same way. You can treat it the same way. It's a deviation of the low. Yeah, it broke below on the weekly, but the monthly, it's just a swing failure. So treat it the same. Have that bias. Have the ability to change your bias quickly when new information is presented to you. So that's the very basic plan I have here for Bitcoin. It looks extremely strong right now. Obviously, I'd like it to pull back a little so I can get leverage long. It doesn't have to, right? We can consolidate here and then we can just keep trading higher. And then guess what? I'm going to need to make a new plan and try and execute that way. So I could post this on Twitter. I could say we either do this or we do this. And then what happens if we just do this? Am I just going to completely sit out and miss that move? Because in my head, I said, well, I had to pull back to here. It doesn't have to do anything. All you're doing in trading is you're laying out probabilities. And then you have a plan to execute in each of those different scenarios. Whether or not those work out and whether or not any of those come into play, it's not up to you. Price does not have to do what you want it to. You could be like, well, it has to test this level. It has to. No, it fucking doesn't. Maybe it will, but it doesn't have to do anything. You got to be prepared for the scenarios, have a plan, be willing to execute on that plan if it comes into action. And if it doesn't, you have to make a new plan. Okay? So looking at like the high time frame, like on the weekly, for example, I'll just hide these for a moment. We filled this fair value gap, right? We filled that in now completely. This is your weekly range from here to here. Remember that video I did about internal range liquidity and external range liquidity? It's on my YouTube, right? So we filled in this fair value gap. So the argument to me now is, well, why wouldn't we now go for the external range liquidity? We filled in the internal range. To me, the external range is the next logical option. I mean, it starts to feel very similar to these two consolidations now, right? Even three. Consolidated, took out the lows, ripped. Consolidate, took out the lows, ripped. Consolidate, took out the lows, ripped. So it's starting to look like that. And as long as the price action remains bullish, like here, right? Everyone thought that this was a breakdown. Go back on Twitter. Everyone thought that this was a breakdown. We reclaimed, flip your bias, get bullish, it ripped. So that's how I'm viewing this too, right? I'm viewing this as like, hey, this was a failed breakdown, it seems. So I'm going to look to bid pullbacks. That's now what I'm looking to do. And if it doesn't give me the pullback, I need to make a new plan to try and get in. All right. So I know that was a lot of talking, probably 15 minutes of ranting there. Does everyone understand what I'm talking about here from start to finish there and kind of the general game plan here on Bitcoin for me? Yo, what up, Crypto Face? How you doing, G? Cool. So very straightforward plan, right, guys? You just do what the market provides. If it's looking bullish and you want to long it, great. Fucking try and long. Don't be beholden to some person on Twitter who said it had to go down. Okay? All we care about is that price is moving. Price is volatile. If price is volatile, you can make money. Up, down, sideways. As long as it's moving, money is able to be made. So I've got a pretty straightforward plan for how I want to get long if we get a bit of a pullback that I've laid out for here, and we go from there. Now let's assume for a second that, let's say it sweeps here, right? And then this just fucking nukes. Guess what? Then the plan was wrong. We look for a new trade. Okay? The market will continue to provide you opportunities. You just have to be prepared to execute on them. Okay? So rather than try and say, well, price went here, then it's going to do this, then it's going to do this, then it's going to do this, then it's going to do this. And let's say that ends up being exactly correct. It only matters at the end of the day if you capitalized on these moves and you made fucking money. You can draw all the squiggly lines in the world and post them on Twitter and look like a genius. If you didn't make any money, are you really winning? No. Okay? So that's what you need to focus on. If you miss this trade, if you miss the bottom and you think it's, you know how many times the bottom or the top has been in the last year that ended up not being the actual bottom or the actual top? It's going to keep happening. So don't worry about it. That trade is over, right? The long that you were in here, that, oh, if I would, trust me, I do this. I've been in this game a long time. I still do this. I think I was long over 2 million, like $2.5 million worth of Ethereum at the lows here. Okay. I posted it on Twitter. I was long like 750 or something like that ETH at the bottom here. Do you not think that I'm now going, well, ETH is now at 34.50. If I would have just held all of that position, I would have been up this much, right? You take out your calculator and you say, oh, if I would have just held, but guess what? You didn't, right? You're not in that trade. It's over. Move on to the next one, okay? Because we're all human. I understand the whole hindsight. Oh, if I would have just done this, guess what? If I would have just held all my Bitcoin from 20,000 and those positions, I'd be up this much. You can't get caught up in that thinking because you're going to miss out on new opportunities by focusing on ones that have already happened, things that have already played out. Okay? So don't cope. Don't be upset that you missed a fucking trade. There will be new trades. So these are my kind of basic plans. Now, can we just consolidate here and continue to rip? For sure, right? I have no way of knowing what is actually going to happen next. I'm making educated guesses. I'm trading the information that is presented to me. So if we just consolidate here and we don't give me a pullback that I want and it doesn't come to my zones, I will create a new plan. I'm not going to focus on, oh, I should have just held those longs from lower. I wish it would have just done this. That's never going to help you. Okay? Make new plans and then fucking execute. So that's pretty straightforward for me on Bitcoin, I think. I'm assuming this is a nice break back into the range. I don't see any reason for us, if we're really bullish, to start trading back below 60K again for any significant period of time. The shallower the pullback, the more bullish it probably is. But those are the areas I'm looking for. Potentially a shallow pullback into here. A deeper pullback would be a retest of the range lows. Just like this, right? When this happened, how many of you chase this only for it to come back and give you a perfect high or low that you could have gotten long on, and then the actual move happened, right? So you miss this, bunch of people are gonna chase, and then maybe it ends up giving you the actual pullback before continuing to go up. So that's my plan for now. The only real bearish argument I see is if we get some sort of really harsh rejection here. Now we have the Ethereum ETF next Tuesday. Okay, so is it going to trade like the Bitcoin ETF? where we get a move up and then we get a really sharp rejection and then it continues higher? I don't know. I don't know, right? But there could be some sort of, bearish thing that could happen, and then you change your plan from there. If we get some sort of rejection, then maybe it's time to short, right? But this could trade all the way back to the range highs, and then it could go down again, right? But trying to determine whether or not we're going to go here doesn't help me right here, right now. If I think we're going to go here, that's great. How do I get in a trade and trade it up to there? All right. So I know there's some moving average people, and there's probably we're probably still below some high time frame MAs. Yeah, I think this 64K kind of area is pretty pivotal. I would like to see us reclaim this area. If you look at like the 3-day chart, for example, a close above here, right, would be flipping this into a breaker. So that would give me pretty good confidence that that low is indeed in and indeed safe. Right? But other than that, guys, we're gonna just trade the levels, man. We're gonna just try and find a long opportunity here. So I'm gonna wait and see. It's Monday, right? We're gonna wait and see how Monday plays out. There's your Monday's range. Maybe it sweeps Monday's low. Maybe it just comes back to here. Maybe it comes all the way down to here. I don't know yet. All I'm doing is I'm laying out plans, and then when those plans potentially come into play, I'm ready to execute. Right? But you can move slow. It's not as fast as you think, right? The reason you feel FOMO, the reason you feel like you're missing out on stuff is because you have no plan for when stuff happens. I told you guys a reclaim of the range low, 3,100 and 60K for Ethereum and Bitcoin respectively, were bullish. So when those things happened, if you just didn't do anything, well, that's probably because you didn't have a plan. And so when that happened, you didn't know what to do. You didn't think, okay, maybe I should long now, even though that thing that I wanted to see happen happened. One of the worst feelings in trading is when you say, okay, if it reclaims this level, I'm going to long, and then it does, and you don't end up doing anything. So a lot of the FOMO and things that you're feeling come just from a lack of preparation, because when you're not prepared and then shit happens, you're ineffective and you're not able to execute. So that's the plan for now on Bitcoin. I think we're into some support. All right, we're into some resistance, excuse me. We've had obviously a massive rally here. Bitcoin's rallied $10,000 off the low. I'm looking for some kind of dip, and then I want a long. So I'm watching here, I'm watching Monday's low, and I'm watching down here, and I'll react accordingly. All right, Ethereum, very similar. Now, I think Ethereum's more bullish than Bitcoin. I think ETH BTC is holding above key support here. And ETH never broke down from the range like Bitcoin did. Okay. So yeah, we're into resistance here. Could we see some rejection here on Ethereum? Absolutely. We could see a rejection here. Now, does that mean it's going to go and take these equal lows? It could. It could. But to me, reclaiming 3,100 was significant. So I'm looking similar to Bitcoin. I see a fair value gap here, about 3,260 to 3,300. That's an area where I'd be interested. If it's going to sell off further, I'd be looking down here. Retest that 3,100 level with the bias of I'm looking for reasons to long, looking for reasons to get bullish. So very similar plan. I like Ethereum better on the long side. If you're looking to long a dip, leading into the ETF, I just think that Ethereum probably offers higher beta. But that's it, guys. Very straightforward. We're into some resistance. We've had multiple green candles in a row. I'm not going to chase this and just long it here. Maybe you do and it goes up. Great. But just have a plan. Whatever you are doing, have a plan. Know where you're right, know when you're wrong, and be ready to execute when the time comes. So similar to Bitcoin, shallow pullback potential into here. Stronger pullback would be down into here. And those are the two scenarios that I'm looking for. Now, could we reject from here and put in a lower high and go down to these equal lows? Maybe. I don't think I've seen a ton of people talking about a move all the way back down to here. I think maybe Credible Crypto thought or thinks we could go back to these equal lows, and maybe he's right. And maybe that happens. But for now, based on this reaction we've had here, I'm more interested in at least trying a long as opposed to shorting. I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm just making plans, and then I'm going to try and execute on those plans when the time comes. So pretty straightforward on both Bitcoin and Ethereum. And we'll wait and see. Let Monday close, right? Let's see what happens tomorrow, and let's go from there. I don't need to overcomplicate it. The overcomplication in trading generally comes from having a poorly laid out plan that you then aren't able to execute on, right? When your plan is simple, if this happens, then I do that. If this happens, then I do that. That's all it is. If this, then that. Why don't I short now? You could. I mean, what's your trade? Are you just shorting this here and your stop is here? Is that the trade? Maybe that works. I don't know. But I'm more interested in trying to long lower. I think we've got a lot of evidence of potential bullishness here. So I would rather look for longs than try and short the pullback, right? It's no different than why I said spot buying here was good, right? So I told people, if you're trading spot, I think buying below the range lows here in the mid 50Ks is good value. And people would say, well, what if it goes to 50? What if it goes to 40? Right? Yeah, it might. But when you're trading spot, you have more wiggle room, right? Because you're not using leverage. And I believe Bitcoin's going to 100K. So if I think Bitcoin's going to 100K, right? Are you going to be mad if you longed 55 and the bottom ended up being 50? Of course not, right? So the logic is similar here. If I think that there's a chance that we can trade up to the range high, do I really need to short here just to capture an extra 1-2% of downside before potential another leg up? I just don't think so personally. I mean, Ethereum's ripping. It's almost back at 3,500 already. Like, people were shitting their pants saying it was over, and we are up 25% off the lows. Right? So do I think this pulls back at some point? Yeah. And that's what I'm trying to identify. That's where I'm trying to play. And then you move on and you move on. You don't worry about the woulda, coulda, shoulda. That doesn't help. We're here to make money. As long as it's volatile, there's an opportunity to make money. That's all it is. I mean, this candle on Ethereum right now, like, look at this. This is the 1 minute chart, dude. Absolutely savage. Look at this thing. So that guy who said, why don't you short now? It's already up $25 since you said that. So we'll see what happens at the daily close. We'll see how the next kind of few hours play out. But those are my plans. And we'll see if I'm lucky enough, right? I'm not calling for anything crazy here. But this is already a decent pullback, right? Like, if we were to pull back to that fair value gap, it's like a 5% pullback at this point. That's how high we've gone. Man, I thought you were short on Rollbit. That was clearly a shit post, right, guys? I posted the bust price being $6,800, and I posted the chart with a target at $6,800, and I'm saying, come liquidate me, bulls. It was very much a meme. I thought that was quite obvious, but based on some of the comments, it seems like people thought I was serious. All right, so those are the plans for Bitcoin and Ethereum. If we pull back, these are the areas I'm interested in. The shallow pullback, like this pullback down here seems way less likely now, right? Because that's a 10% dip. Could it happen? Sure. But even just to this shallower pullback, at this point, it's over 5%. So let's wait and see. But watching this fair value gap, that's what I'd like to see. I would be interested in longing at the range lows again if we get there, but I don't know if we will. How would you know whether a deeper pullback can occur? How are you analyzing it? You don't know. That's the thing, right? You don't know. You're making an educated guess. You're trading the chart. You're making an educated guess, and you're putting money behind it, and it's risk adjusted. So you're hopefully your reward is higher than your risk. I don't know what's going to happen, right? Nobody knows how deep the pullback's going to be or how high it's going to be. You will see all the time. You'll see this, right? Let's see. I can just draw this actually. So you'll see price do this, and then you'll see someone draw a box like this, right? And then price will come in, and it'll do this, and they'll go, I fucking told you, right? I told you. Look at that. I told you should have long there. I do this all the time. Okay? But what you never see is when they do this, they draw their box, right? And then price does this. And then it goes up maybe. They never post this one where it didn't work, right? They're making an educated guess based on whatever TA they're doing. Maybe they're using moving averages, Ichimoku, price action, whatever it is, okay? They'll never show you the one that doesn't work. They're only going to show you the one when it works. They're never going to show you the ones where it did not work. Their reason for longing here, or at least drawing the box there, they had all of their confluences and they did it. Whether or not they executed, we have no fucking idea. All right? But it's an educated guess. No one knows for sure that that is actually where the pullback was going to stop and that it wasn't going to be deeper. They don't actually know. You're just laying out potential scenarios and you're making an educated guess. You're putting some money behind that guess. It's no different than playing poker or blackjack, right? You know the odds when the dealer is showing a certain card and you have a certain card. You know the odds that, oh, I've got two aces here. Based on what the dealer's showing, I should split in this scenario. Oh, you're playing poker. Well, I've got, the high pair based on the flop, so I need to raise here. It's just probabilities. That's all it is. You're making a guess. Thanks for wishing for all-time highs on your birthday. I hope all-time highs come before my birthday because that would be a year from now. Long from 57,300 feels good, man. Awesome, bro. Crazy good entry. SD shows failed setup while he thinks it goes his way. We missed tiny details, but fucked up with Cloak Goblin mindset. Can't even realize his setup not worked. Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't know. I know he makes money trading. That's all that matters. So whether or not his little squiggly line worked out perfectly, if he's making money, that's all that matters. Is Don Alt a LARP? Don Alt is one of the best swing traders I have ever seen. He is absolutely not a LARP. He has made a ton of money over the last few cycles, and he is one of the best. Whether or not you like him or you like how he acts with people on Twitter, he is a great fucking trader. And a lot of these new people who haven't been around for very long, who shit talk him, are going to be long gone and broke, and he'll still be fine. Would you even bother playing shorts here for a pullback? We seem overextended. I agree that we seem overextended, but I'm not, for me, what is the short here? What is the logic? If you're shorting this order block because you think, hey, this is broke market structure, bearish retest. Okay. Where's your invalidation? Is it here or is it here? You could end up being right. But to me, I think this is pretty bullish, and a pretty bullish setup forming here. So I'm much more interested in looking on the long side than I am shorting for a potential couple point drop. Because if I think we're going to go here, right, I'd much rather long this and try and trade it to here than short just to capture this little bit. Because let's say you short here and we start going down, right? And then it comes to this area that you wanted to long. But you say, well, I'm short. Maybe it's going to go lower. And you end up round tripping that short and missing your long entirely, right? So yeah, I mean, for now, those are the game plans here. Could we make a low? Like, could this be bullshit? Yeah, I mean, this would be it would be insane. Doesn't mean it's not possible to break down here, put in a 25% move, and then make another lower low. Can it happen? Absolutely. Anything can happen. This is the craziest market in the world. To me, the Trump, like, you know, potential, like, attempted assassination, like, that is a black swan. And so it's hard to attribute TA to that and be like, well, because he didn't die, it's bullish. If he would have died, it was bearish. And do we buy this because, you know, it's only pumping because he was attempted assassinated and he likes Bitcoin? Like, you're going to go crazy trying to think like that. Just trade the chart. Like, for now, this looks like a pretty strong up move. So I'm going to try and buy a retest. Like, that's my monkey brain simple. I don't need to try and overthink it. But yeah, anything can happen. Do I think this is likely? Not really. But again, anything can happen. And if you start thinking in absolutes, not only does that make you a Sith, and we don't like the Sith, but you're going to end up missing out on so much shit because you're going to be locked into this bias. Look at Capo, right? Like, obviously we figured out now that he's being paid 6 figures a month from Polkadot. So no wonder he's been able to be bearish the entire way up. But that mindset of being like, I think it has to go down. So every time it keeps going higher, I'm just going to draw a new resistance level and say, this is the one, you know? So for me, above 3,100, above 60K, no reason to really be bearish anymore. Right? Like, there was tons of evidence and tons of reason to be looking for lower based on this breakdown. Tons of very, very valid reasons. The weekly break, right? The structure looked fucked. The loss of the range. There was tons and tons of evidence and confluences to say, hey, I think we're going to make another leg down. But when something else happens and that ends up being wrong and you get a reaction like this, you have to be willing to let go of that bias and make a new plan. Doesn't mean that we still can't go down, but your initial plan of, you know, us going down from here clearly hasn't played out. Wipe that off the table. It's time to make a new plan. Strong opinions loosely held. So have a bias, be prepared to execute on it, but be quick to realize when you're potentially wrong and if you need to flip your bias or make a new plan. Don't hold yourself to like, oh God, I thought it was going to go down, so I have to hold, I have to hold for lower. What up, Chase? How you doing, G? Wrecked Radio, what up, boys? Remember being in Don Alt's stream when BitMEX went down because of the liquidation and guys, legends. Don's an OG, man. He is an OG who's made plenty trading. Easy guy to clown on. I get it. He's from Europe, and he can definitely act like, a smug prick. I'm pretty sure it's in his Twitter bio, but it is 100% well deserved because he's an incredible trader. You don't stay around in crypto for this long unless you have some semblance of what you're doing. There's a reason he's got 500,000-600,000 followers. It's not because he's a LARP and because he's shitty. Oh my God, Jane is back. Jane, it's been ages. Where have you been? What's going on? How do I read price action? The same way you read a book, Jane. What up, son? How you doing, bro? Sabo, I don't know how to pronounce your name, bro. Sentiment on the volume of this move. I don't even look at volume. So my sentiment is, I don't know. Quite a big CME gap on BTC. What's the easiest way to see? Is it BTC1? What's the CME? There it is. Yeah. I mean, sure, we could. I mean, is this not in line with that level that I had marked, though, back into the range low? Right? Like, I marked out this demand. So, is it possible we fill that CME gap? Sure. Definitely can happen. Right? But that's an area, again, where I'm looking to long. The CME gap happens to be right into the range lows in an area where I would like to potentially long. Jane's been living under a rock. All right. What's up, Touching Films? Hey, Trader Mayne, is Breakout experiencing platform issues at the moment? Seems sketchy. Not that I'm aware of, but I am live on stream right now, so I'm not in the Discord. But I would check in the Discord, see if anyone else is having issues or if it's potentially an issue just localized to you. Are you only trading the majors with leverage or are you holding spot too? I do hold spot. I primarily trade the majors, Bitcoin and Ethereum, some of the other big altcoins like Solana. I still have spot, right? Like I still have spot Beam, RLB. I own a bunch of these tokens and I still own OXO. Like I round tripped massive P&L on OXO, dude. I bought this at 10 cents. It went to 50 and I didn't sell any. So I didn't do, and I made a tweet about this. Like I didn't do a good job of de-risking any of my altcoins. Because that's what happens with alts, right? That's one of the problems is Bitcoin hasn't really done that much. It's been in this range for 4 months. Yes, it's a 30% range, but a lot of altcoins have retraced 70, 80, 90% and their entire moves, and they're trading at prices from a year ago. And that's both the great part about alts is they can do 4, 5, 6x. And one of the worst parts is they can retrace 70, 80% while Bitcoin is still at 60K. And you can round trip like a motherfucker. And I definitely, I definitely got smoked holding some of these alts. I did not do a good job personally of TPing some of my altcoin positions that I was up a ton on. And that happens. Like I'm not perfect by any means, but I still believe that we're in a bull run. I still believe that everything eventually trades higher. So I'm hoping I'll get another opportunity to sell these things. I just don't think alts have topped when Ethereum hasn't even made a new all-time high yet. How do you handle positions like that? You still look for new all-time highs? Listen, I mean, some of these coins, like TIA is an amazing example here. The coin I hate so fucking much. Like this was one of the god coins, right? Remember, right? What does TIA stand for? Celestia. It was Incel, right? Incel, remember? It was Inge. It was Inge and it was TIA. That should be a J. Incel. It was the new Sol Luna AVAX, right? Of last cycle. This was it. Everyone thought that this was going to like $40 from here. And it's retraced the entire fucking move. And this could now double from here very easily. Could it make a new all-time high? Maybe. Will it? I have no fucking clue. But when you're in something and it goes up this much, it's always a fucking pretty good idea to take some profits. Like if you look at a lot of these altcoins versus BTC, like they made new lows, right? They retraced the entire fucking move. Inge is another one. So this was the God coin. Everyone thought this coin was fucking the next coming of Jesus Christ himself. And it dropped, 70%. Does it mean it's done? Does it mean it can't make a new all-time high? Absolutely not. But when you're holding spot from these coins, right, you got to be prepared that if you're not taking any profits on the way up, this thing can have, like, look at what happened here. 90% drawdown to a, 3,000% move up. 70% drawdown. This could have another fucking 2, 3x, 4x in it. I don't know, right? But you have to be prepared for that kind of shit when you're trading these alts. These things can fucking die like you wouldn't believe. Even though Bitcoin is at 64K, a lot of these altcoins are trading at prices from November of last year. Okay, so profit is the king. I'm telling you, 99.9% of the altcoins that you hold are vaporware. They're useless garbage. It doesn't matter if they have use cases. It doesn't matter if they have users. It doesn't matter if they are something that talk about having all this different utility. It doesn't matter. It's pretty much all vaporware. It's very rare that an altcoin will reach exit velocity and it becomes impervious to market cycles. Like Solana might be one of those exceptions where it's like, okay, this coin is going to make a new all-time high, higher than last cycle. Okay, and yeah, it's going to have crazy drawdowns, right? Ethereum has crazy drawdowns, but it's going to continue to make new all-time highs in the future. Most altcoins will make that crazy all-time high during the bull cycle, and then they will never see that all-time high again. Doesn't mean that they can't go up, doesn't mean that you can't make money trading them, but they'll never get back to that previous all-time high level. Maybe Solana is one of those exceptions, but the exceptions don't make the rule. Those are very few and far between. The majority of these coins, the first cycle all-time high that they see usually is as high as they will ever go. It's fucking all vaporware. So if you're up life-changing money, change your life. And yeah, the argument is like, oh, but dude, you're never going to fucking get the 1000x. And maybe that's why I'm not a fucking billionaire. I'm just much more interested in taking profit. I want money at the end of the day. I'm in this to make money. I'm not in this for any other reason. And altcoins are a way for me to make money, a way for you to make money. So if you're up a lot, you got to be willing to take profits, right? Like you look at like a Litecoin, right? So like Litecoin, crazy volatile. It's gone up and down, up and down, up and down. But like, is it ever going to go above 420? Highly doubt, right? What's another good one? ETC, USDT. Right? Like, is this ever going to go above 180 again? I fucking highly doubt it. Doesn't mean you can't make money, but that cycle high is probably as high as this will ever trade. And this is true. And these are nothing coins, right? Like, do you use Sushi Swap? Like, is it not something that is used by people? Does it not have users? Is it ever going to go to $23 again? Right? Like, is it going to go up 4,000%? Even though people use it, it has utility. Like, do people use Jupiter? Jupiter, I think, is more likely to see a new all-time high. This is probably not as good of an example. But there's coins that do stuff, that actually do stuff. There's users, right? And they'll might never see an all-time high again. You can't control price. Can't control price. So it's very rare that a coin will reach that escape velocity like Solana potentially is doing, for example, where it will continue to make new all-time highs in future cycles. Very rare, right? The main ones for now are Bitcoin and Ethereum still. And those are the main two coins, I hold. Like, yeah, Link is a great example. Now, Link, I couldn't even tell you what Link does. I mean, fuck, all I know is I long the bottom. I don't know what Link fucking does. Are people using Link? What does it do? Is it going to go back to $54 one day? Maybe, right? But are you willing to hold for, 40, 50% drawdown in the hopes that it does? So I'm a profit maxi before anything. I'm interested in profit, profit, profit. And I did a poor job personally on this last rally in taking out some profits on some altcoins that I was up a ton of. I was up 5x on OXO. Maybe it goes to $1, but I was up 5x and Bitcoin was at range highs and I didn't take any profit. So not the best handling of that situation for me personally, but it happens, right? Like you're not going to be perfect. My understanding is the ETF is on the 23rd, which is Tuesday, next Tuesday, 6, 7, 8 days from now. Like I own a bunch of AI coins, right? Like I own a bunch of this desync, right? And I was long up here and I still hold it because I thought, oh, how low can it go? And it's retraced, 70%. Yes, it's up almost 100% from the lows, right? But if you bought up here, it's nowhere near, your entry, like Friend, right? How much hype was there around Friend Tech? So many people using Friend Tech. It's the #1 SocialFi app. Everyone's going to be having Friend Tech. Bunch of celebrities creating Friend Tech. One thing I will say that I fucking nailed, because I haven't done a lot of clout goblining on this stream, was the celebrity shit, right? I remember, and there's not a shot at Ansem, right? Because Ansem's called a lot of shit that works and some shit doesn't, right? Like that's one of the problems people have, similar to what I was saying about Don Alt, is Ansem was bullish on all this stuff and then it went down and everyone's like, dude, what the fuck? And he's like, oh, well, I sold. So Ansem made money. He did what you're supposed to do. He's like, oh, I actually think things are going to go down now, so I'm going to take some profit. Doesn't mean he's not still bullish on Solana and he might not rebuy and think it can go back up, but he took profit. Is it his fault that you guys didn't? Of course not. But people are holding it to him being like, dude, you said you were bullish on this and you sold some. Like if you're bullish on something, does that mean you have to assume it's going to go up forever? Of course not. Right? So you can be as bullish as you want on Solana, but at the end of the day, he's trying to make money. And he saw that Bitcoin was at resistance. He thought it was a good idea to take some profit. Right? But people will never focus on that. They'll just focus on the shit you got wrong and they'll remind you of it. And the bigger your account gets, the worse it gets. And I used to argue with those people all the time. Then I stopped giving a fuck. But I was correct about that celebrity thing. Everyone was like, the celebrity meta is the new thing. Maybe it is, but every time celebrities have come into crypto, it's usually been when market is about to nuke. They're usually here for a quick cash grab. They're usually here to grift. They're not here to actually onboard people. And I just thought his take on that was completely wrong. And for now, and maybe 3 years from now, it ends up being right, and celebrities are a major part of bringing people onto crypto. But, this doesn't look like onboarding, right? This is definitely not onboarding. So I generally am pretty hesitant on welcoming celebrities into crypto who are usually just trying to get a quick buck. And I think the major disconnect between him and I and others on that was, well, they have this huge audience that they're now presenting crypto to. It's like, dude, FTX was on the crypto.com is now the Staples Center. FTX was the Miami Heat Arena. There's Bybit sponsoring F1 cars. Like, we don't need a celebrity like Iggy Azalea to present, or Jason Derulo to present crypto to their audience, and that's going to fucking onboard people. Jason has shilled tons of scams. And the issue, right, and me, where we were kind of diametrically opposed on our opinions, was he viewed it as like, these people have huge audiences. These people might now onboard to crypto. It's like, well, their first onboarding experience is getting dumped on by their celebrity. But furthermore, the fact that these celebrities have an audience gives them the opportunity to get money out of their audience, extract value right away, right? And his argument was, lots of crypto people launch scams and we don't care. Why are we getting mad if a celebrity does something bad and makes a mistake? It's like, well, first of all, we do care. Zach XBT has made an entire career out of calling out scammers. And when someone outright scams, crypto Twitter is pretty good at being like, fuck this person, right? And don't listen to them. They've scammed in the past. Doesn't mean they can't continue to scam. But a lot of people don't have that built-in audience already where they can instantly extract value. They can launch a coin and instantly extract money from their audience. A lot of these celebrities, especially these like lower tier celebrities that are not, A-list celebs, there's a reason a lot of A-list celebs aren't fucking doing this. They don't need the fucking money. But a rapper like Lil Pump, right? I bet you his net worth is maybe a couple $1 million, right? Even though he's got the chains and the blah, blah, blah. A lot of times they rent their chains, they rent the cars, they're renting their watches, and they're not as rich as you perceive them to be. So if someone comes at them with an opportunity to make 2, 3, 4, 500 grand, like right away, they're gonna jump on that. Okay, Pelosi Bolognese. That is a fucking hilarious name. Pelosi Bolognese. I think you spelled Bolognese wrong. Well, no, actually, I think you did that intentionally. With breakout, does drawdown matter if you're still green? So our drawdown is balance based. So it's based on your equity. Okay, not or on your balance, excuse me, not your equity. Okay, so if you're in a trade, right, and you're in the green and then it pulls back, you're not gonna bust, right? Because it's based on the balance, which is closed trades. It's not equity based. So you can swing trade and have up and down P&Ls. And how can Americans trade with Bybit? They can't. What's up with Popcat? Popcat seems to be a meme that is, on the precipice of like escape velocity, right? Like a lot of these memes, like you look at Bowden. I mean, Joe Biden himself has not done Bowden a lot of favors. But this coin looks about as dead as he is. Doesn't mean it can't go up. But again, like there's people who are up so much on this thing and, now you're all the way back down. Right? But the Popcat is one of these ones that it's trying to survive, right? So it's had a crazy retrace, right? 70%, but it's back up at the highs. Is this the next whiff or MOG or whatever the other ones are? I don't know, but it looks fucking pretty good right now. That's for sure. But Breakout uses Bybit. Breakout sources its liquidity from tier 1 centralized exchanges. Breakout is not American. Everyone knows it's vapor, but can't help themselves. That's human nature, man. Greed, right? We cannot help ourselves. So let's look at some other stuff here. The dollar, right? We're still within this big range. I think what's good for the bulls is the fact that this is potentially looking like it's failed, right? So I mentioned up here, I'm like, this is resistance. We want to stay within this range for crypto to be bullish. And we came up, deviated, bearish retest. So yeah, we're holding here now, but you want to see the dollar remain either in this range or trading to the lows of the range for Bitcoin to be bullish, okay? Because if the dollar starts breaking out here, that's not going to be good for crypto. It's not going to be good for risk. the S&P has been insane. I posted this the other day. I was like, listen, as much as you might think this chart needs to pull back and it's due for a pullback, this thing can stay retarded forever. I mean, it's literally designed to go up and to the right. And even the craziest crashes, Black Swan, COVID, we're trading 150% higher from the COVID lows, maybe even more. Yeah, 160% from the COVID lows. It just looks like a blip now. Like looking at this on the high time frame, COVID looks like a blip. We're so much higher. And this chart is just designed to go up and to the right. So it's going to have a pullback at some point, but this is going to stay retarded a lot longer than you can stay solvent. And I guess part of the bearish case would be this thing's been going up only while Bitcoin was going down. Okay. And the dollar's been going down. So in general, there is a divergence here. Generally, when stocks have been up, crypto's been up. So now you have to ask yourself, is crypto now going to catch up, right? Because it's been going down. Is it going to catch up to what stocks has done? Or if stocks pull back here, is crypto going to sell off harder? So is crypto lagging and it's going to catch up? Or is it just weak? And when stocks pull back, crypto is going to puke again. So it is something that you want to watch. You know, if we get some sort of pullback here, it'll be interesting to see how crypto handles that. But I'm not in the business of trying to pick a top on this thing. It's impossible. How do you handle stop placements? Seem to be in the right direction most of the time, but I always get wicked out while I sleep. So if you're consistently having the same thing happen to you, right? You're right directionally, but you're wrong on your validation. That's good. Okay. Now you just realize, okay, maybe my entry is good. My bias is correct. I just need to work on my stop placement. So are you putting it too tight? Are you putting it right below a low, right? Are you putting it right under an SR level? Maybe you have to put it more loose. You have to give the trade more room to breathe, right? But if you've identified the only issue is you're getting stopped out, but the entry's good and the bias is good, great. Now look at why you're putting your stop where it is. And is that not a good place to potentially have your stop? Because if you're getting stopped out on a long, right? How do you get stopped out on a long, right? It's with a short. You're selling, right? So if you get stopped out, if your stop is below here, right? And then price just comes and gets you and does this. Well, was this, and that's where you're getting stopped out. Maybe your stop is too tight. Maybe it needs to be, you know, at a lower structure point. And you give that trade more room to breathe because you're selling to get out of that trade, right? All right, what else can we look at here? Yeah, I mean, listen, guys, what matters is like we're volatile as fuck over the last couple of weeks. So even though some of these altcoins ate absolute shit, like look at how hard they're bouncing off the bottom. Many coins are up 10, 20, 30, 40, 50% off the lows. So there's tons of opportunity out there. And if you look at some of these coins that were previously very strong, when Bitcoin's nuking and then starts reversing, you want to look at these old coins and say, well, hold on. FET was really strong, right? This was one of the stronger coins. We just retraced all the way back into this consolidation. We put in a big sweep as Bitcoin was bottoming out. There's tons of opportunities like this to find money. All right, this guy's asked me to chart ENS about 1,000 times. So let's take a look. I mean, looks pretty decent, dude. Like, I don't see why this can't. I still have this $40 level tagged. Like, this is one of the better looking charts, I would say. Like, yeah, it had a big pullback, 60%, but it's right back up at the highs. Pretty strong out of the bottom here. You know, up 40% off the lows. So it looks pretty good, man. Thoughts on using 2 to 3x leverage instead of spot to get more onto a trade? Yeah, I mean, listen, low leverage is fine, right? You just realize anytime you're using leverage, there's a risk of liquidation, right? When you're just buying spot, the only way you get liquidated is if it literally goes to zero. So obviously the lower leverage is, if you're confident in a swing trade and you say, hey, I want to get in 2x, 3x lev, sure. But just realize you still can get liquidated anytime you're using leverage. RNDR. I already have this here. Render. Yeah, again, right? Crazy retrace off the highs. Already up 20% off the lows. I mean, it looks decent. A lot of these coins look, potentially decent here. It's just all dependent on Bitcoin, right? If Bitcoin makes another low, altcoins are still pretty weak, but a lot of these alt BTC pairs, right, are looking potentially bottomy. This is what you want to be watching, right? So if Bitcoin pulls back, you want to watch the altcoins versus BTC and versus Ethereum to see if they're going to be a good buy. Yeah, I do like Maker quite a lot, actually. Yeah, it looks really good. Came right into weekly demand, along with Bitcoin bottoming out. Put in a sweep right there as well. Looks pretty good. It still has to clear kind of this $3 area, but after that, it looks like, $4 would be the next target. Mayne, would it be better to do a manual stop loss over setting a hard stop? A manual stop loss only works under two conditions. Condition number one, you're watching it, right? Because a manual stop loss, it doesn't work if you're sleeping and, that stop loss triggers, but you're not there to actually execute on it. The second condition is you have to do it. One of the issues with manual stops is, let's say you say, okay, I'm going to long, price is doing this. And you say, okay, I'm going to long here, okay? My hard stop is here, but my manual stop is if it gets an H1 close below here. And then price does this, and it closes below. And you say, I'm just going to hold it a little longer, and then it ends up taking the full stop, right? So you have to have the discipline to follow the manual stop. So, yeah, they can work, they can help, but obviously you got to be there to execute it, and then you got to have the discipline to actually follow through with it. You could have a hard stop down here and then a manual stop here, and then you can decide to cut here, but maybe it comes close, it doesn't quite tag it. Absolutely, you can do that. But leaves room for human error, right? You want your trading to be as robotic as fuck. Right? The less moving parts, the less things that are subjective as opposed to objective, the more room there is for error and for you to not listen to your plan. I give this example all the time. The amount of times that you're in a trade and it does this, here's my TP, price goes here. You know what? I'm going to hold it a little longer. It looks good. And then it does this. How mad are you that you didn't listen to your plan, right? Or manual stop. It does this. You say, you know what? I still think it's going to go up. Uh-oh. And then a little loss becomes a big loss, right? So you've got to have a lot of discipline if you're going to use manual stops. And the less using a hard stop, having hard TPs, it's going to allow you to, it takes the human element out. It's hard coded in. Those orders are in. Now, as you get more comfortable with your trading, more confident, you're better at it, actively managing the trade and, maybe adjusting your stops and doing partial TPs and compounding and things like that, scaling out, all of that, I think can absolutely work, but you shouldn't be doing that early on in your career. Early on in your career, less is more. Make it as simple as possible. I enter here, take profit here, stop here. All right, let's look at Solana. I don't think I've covered Solana yet. So Solana, I really like above 150, right? Like it came down, traded below the mid-range. It's holding, right? Put in a sweep down here, and it's back above 150. I think it looks really good. Similar to Bitcoin, right? I would like to buy it on a dip. Maybe that dip is really shallow. Maybe it gives me a dip back into 135, 140. I don't know yet. But again, this looks good. It's reclaiming a key level. So looks bullish for now. I'm interested in longing a dip if I get one. Bonk. Yeah, I mean, Bonk took out these lows right into demand. Looks really strong. A lot of meme coins look really strong. Like, look at the memes here, right? Doge up 8, Pepe 20, Whiff 25, Bonk 10, Sheep 8, Floki 20. So a lot of these alts look really strong. Like coming out the bottom, they look fucking phenomenal, right? So again, though, you look, you say, oh, look, it came into demand, came into this breaker here. Perfect retest, right? Here's your breaker. And it's ripping. Okay, but if you were holding, are you prepared to hold this entire drawdown? That's a big-ass drawdown. That's what's crazy about these altcoins, right? Especially if you're holding spot, the price swings can be sickening. Sickening. CTSI. I don't think I know what this one is. Where has it been listed for longer? Yeah, I mean, is it at the range lows? Yes. Is the market looking bullish? Yes. But, and yeah, I mean, look, it's up 30% from the low, but there's a lot of charts that look a lot stronger than this. So is it lagging or is it just relatively weaker? So if you're trying to decide whether or not you should long this or whiff, right? You do this divided by whiff USD. You've now created the synthetic, and it's pretty clear which one of these you should be long, right? Whiff has been kicking the shit out of this thing. Or if you want to long CTIS divided by, Ethereum, right? You've now created CTSI ETH, right? So if this chart's going up, let me make sure I say this correctly because I fucked it up last stream. So if this chart is going up, CTSI is stronger. If this chart's going down, Ethereum is stronger, right? So I don't know what this coin does. I don't know why you're long it, but you want to, if you're looking at what alts to buy, the problem is, right, especially with a lot of altcoins, is they go down so much and you're just holding because maybe you're underwater or you didn't take any profit and you're trying to find a reason to be bullish. Don't let that prevent you from taking trades on potentially stronger coins, right? And you can compare any coin with anything. You can look at BTC USD divided by the S&P 500. Okay? And just today, right? Because now we've created BTC SPX. Okay? This is no different than ETH BTC. So when do you want to be bullish, right? Or this is just comparing the two assets, right? So what's been outperforming, right? What's been outperforming lately? SPX, right? So this has been going down, right? This is no different than if this was ETH BTC and it looked like this, you'd say, well, Bitcoin is stronger. Well, this is BTC SPX. The denominator is going up more than the numerator. So the fraction itself is going down. They're both going up, right? But BTC is going up less. And I have an entire video series on this stuff too on my YouTube. If you go on my YouTube and you go under the educational section, I have an entire couple videos on how to use the ratios. Mayne, maybe the trade he's looking for has better RR than comparing to WIF due to the bigger price movements. Perhaps. I mean, again, I don't know what his trade is. I don't know what he's doing. The most important thing is, can you see the trade? Right? Can you see the trade? So do you know where you're entering? Do you know where your stop is? Can you frame the trade? That's more important than what is stronger, in my opinion. Obviously, in an ideal world, you long the coin that goes up the most, obviously. But what's more important than being high beta, in my opinion, is what one can you actually see a trade on? Because maybe you weren't able to find an entry on the strongest coin because it went up a bunch and you don't know where your risk is. So the first thing you should look for, absolutely, is what chart can I see the trade on the most clearly? Then you can go down the list of trying to figure out what's higher beta and all that kind of shit. Holy shit, I've been live for an hour and a half already. This has flown by. Okay, I have to go to the gym and do a bunch of other shit. But it's good to be back. Love the content, Mayne. I remember analysis from last week and went max long. Hell yeah, good for you. But yeah, this was a good stream. It went by way faster than I thought. I honestly thought we were at like an hour. But I do have to cap it here because I got to go. But plans are pretty straightforward, guys, right? So we're looking for these areas to long the dip on BTC, Ethereum, and Solana. Those are the main three that I'm watching, okay? I know there's a lot of ranting in this video, but hopefully it's valuable and it's taught you a few things. We're back. I'll be back streaming hopefully every single week at least. I've got lots of breakout stuff coming as well from the video side, so stay tuned for those analytic videos and the trade of the week videos. Some exciting stuff to go over there. But yeah, if you guys want to support your boy, the best way to do that, use my stuff. All the links in the description. Bybit are the sponsor of these streams, so you can register at the link in the description there. I've got a new promo that I'll post in Telegram that they're running for those interested. But yeah, like, retweet, comment on my stuff, engage with it. All that stuff is free. It doesn't cost you anything. So yeah, if you want to help the boy out, that's the best way to do it. If you got any questions about Breakout, The Haven, any of the other stuff I'm doing, check the description and you can always hit me up and ask me in DMs. Appreciate y'all. No, it's not a neck day. What is today? Today's Monday. So unfortunately, or fortunately, today is leg day. All right, guys. Love y'all. Talk to y'all soon. Stay safe out there.